Reporting live. Thanks. Bailey Allman. She was a little girl who symbolized the tragedy that was Oklahoma City. She was a little girl who was pictured in the arms of a fireman in a picture that was seen around the world. Marvin Allman is Bailey's great uncle. He joins us live at 5 from his barbershop in McAllen. Mr. Allman, thank you for joining us live today, sir.
Thank you. I think we'd look favorable to life in prison without parole.
You would certainly be the exception rather than the rule in that case, Mr. Allman. I'd like to ask you one final question. If you could be in a room alone with Tim McVeigh just for 2 or 3 minutes, what would you ask him? What would you tell him? What would be your thoughts that you would convey to him?
The way I feel about the senseless murder of 168 people, it would not be good for me to be in a room by myself with him.
Marvin Allman, thanks. With that in mind, it's time for News 4 listens to you. The question on everybody's mind today: do you agree with the Tim McVeigh verdict? Just moments ago, I got off the phone with the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, where the clerk there who handles death penalty cases told me that 2 federal applications for stays of execution have just been denied by the entire court. All of this happening at about 5:35 Central Standard Time. So it now appears that very soon we will be hearing officially that Davis Losada has been put to death. He, of course, is scheduled to die within the hour. As one death row inmate told me a few years ago during an interview, it's knowing that you're going to die is a very eerie feeling. It's almost surreal to know that you're about to die. They were one of the Valley's first gangs, La Clica, they called themselves.
The beating was so brutal that half of her earlobe was detached from her ear.
Dave Johnson is on the island to give us a little preview of what's to come. Hi, Dave.
You thought I was on the island. Actually, I'm in Cabo Wabo. Check it out back there. You can get a shot back there. Actually, it only looks like we're in Cabo Wabo. My man here, Sammy Hagar, what's going on? Good
Hey, everything's great.
I'm old enough to remember you in Montrose.
That I'm probably old enough to be your father. No, your uncle. Well, because we needed a place to rehearse with. We have a brand new production, all new lights and new stage, and we needed a week and a place for the crew to have a good time. You know, it's kind of like a nice little party town here.
It was a little bit different for you. A little nervous about this, or?
I'm not nervous at all. You know, to be honest with you, I'm totally excited. I'm focused. I know exactly what to do. You know, when you're in a band, you have to always compromise. Everyone compromises. Well, it's going to be my turn now. Okay, then it's your turn. Then okay, then it's my turn. So it's never a really straight ahead thing. You're always stopping and going, stopping and going. And now it's straight ahead. I know exactly what I want to do, what I want to project to the audience. No compromise. This is pure what my heart and soul wants to project to the rock and roll world. And it's pretty selfish.
Is that something, though, that comes with experience when you first start out? You've got different directions, and now you finally know where you want to go.
Oh, yeah, as many times as I've been on tour since 1973 was my first rock and roll tour with Montrose, which you mentioned earlier. And I've been touring and stuff and playing for audiences and making records since then. So, you know, after a while, you get either tired of it or you got to grow and change. And I've always grown and changed. It's why I'm still totally into just loving what I'm doing, you know. There's nothing to do with money here. This is all about, you know, small places. This is really cool. You know, I'm having fun. So I just always find a new mission every year, every tour. I find out what I want to say, how I want to present myself to the world, and what I want to offer to my fans. And right now, for me, it's all about giving back. That's why I'm playing small places. I want the fans to be up close. I want ticket prices, trying to keep ticket prices down, and difficult, but we're doing it. And just trying to, you know, give something back to the people so that they don't have to drive 400 miles like these guys did to see the show. They didn't have to do this. I was coming to Houston eventually, but that's what I mean. Just going to little towns and playing nice little theaters and supporting the community and giving some things back to some charity things. You know, I'm just trying to go out and be a good guy.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to comment very briefly, at least, on Van Halen. All of that is behind you now?
Oh, totally. 10 great years and 1 bad one. And, you know, when you look at a life like that, that's not too bad. To think that out of 10 great years and all the success we had, we only had 1 bad year for me, and that was the last one, the way it broke up. I'm not happy about the way it ended, but I'm sure happy about everything that happened with it, and I got nothing against those guys, and hopefully they feel the same about me, and I'm just doing it my way. Doing some Van Halen songs in concert, you know. I mean, I wrote them all with Eddie. We wrote every song together, so I figured I have as much right to some of them as they do, so we're just going to...
All right, and now you're marching tomorrow. Sammy Hagar, thanks for joining us live today.
We're there.
All right,
tonight. We're landing, no, we're just starting in Cabo, but we're landing on Mars tonight. Yay!
Thanks a lot, Sammy. The show gets underway tonight here at the South Powder Island Convention Center, and it promises to be a pretty big concert. If you got no plans, well, come on out. Jeannie?
Sounds pretty good. Dave Johnson, thanks. Dave Johnson had the tough job of heading out to the island today to check it all out. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, Jeannie, it is a tough job. Let me tell you, we are here at the South Powder Island Convention Center. Behind me, the fans have started to line up. They'll be letting them in these doors at about 6:45 and into this auditorium that is not going to be any seating here, by the way. So Sammy Hagar, legendary rock and roll star, will be here. You know, they talk about fans. Fan is short for fanatic, and that would be the word that would describe these two guys, who are Sammy Hagar and Van Halen fanatics. They're from the Valley. At least one of them's from the Valley, and they moved to Houston. Welcome, Raul Espino.
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, what's going on, buddy?
We're ready for the show.
Well, why are you such a Sammy Hagar fan?
Oh, he's a great guy. He's just a great guy, great show. Just it's going to be awesome tonight.
Now, you've been following him around. While we were doing the live show with him at 5 o'clock, he came over and talked to you guys, gave you some T-shirts and some passes and stuff. It's pretty
Yes,
good feeling.
Oh, it's awesome.
And your friend is Jason Brumley. How you doing, Jason?
Good.
The same thing with you. You're a big Sammy Hagar fan?
Yes.
What is it about him you like?
He's just a real good guy. He's nice. He always likes to talk to the fans, and he just real down to earth, and likes to talk to us, and hang out with us, and you know.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. They were telling me some war stories about some of the rock concerts that they had been to lately. You wouldn't believe the kind of access these guys actually get at rock concerts. Pretty good, but you're going to be getting some good seats tonight, and a pleasure for you guys joining us. Again, the show gets underway here tonight at 8 o'clock. He is the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar, former Van Halen lead singer, but he likes to be known more now as just Sammy Hagar. He's on his Marching to Mars tour. It all kicks off tonight here on South Powder Island at 8 o'clock. Live from South Powder Island, I'm Dave Johnson.
Looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like Dave should be wearing shorts.
The headlines in today's El Mañana newspaper scream out tragedy in Valle Hermoso. Inside the local section, graphic, explicit pictures with the headline, 15 muertos. Photographer Rafael Cavazos and I went to the scene today to see the carnage firsthand. A converted school bus carrying 40 maquiladora workers, including the daughter of a former Mexican congressman, met their death down this slick, narrow road. The accident happened very early Monday morning in rainy conditions similar to this. The bus was traveling northbound about a mile outside of Valle Hermoso in an area known, very notorious for its soft shoulders and deep drop-offs. Here is just one example of just how deep and how soggy the drop-off is. The bus careened into this 16-foot canal where the victims met a very violent and a very murky death. Ricardo Gomez lives right across the street. People were screaming, he says. Some were drowning. Some were burning alive. After hitting a car, the bus burst into flames. The car involved in the accident also crashed into the canal, killing the driver. The remnants of this bus remain in a junkyard, and here's just some of the damage that happened. The bus, of course, caught on fire, and the fire still burns right here. The entire wheel of this bus was torn off. The front end and the engine suffered some severe damage, as did the hood. The windshield, of course, is completely out. More damage on the left side of the hood. The right side of the wheel is torn off. Remnants of the ditch still remain stuck and embodied inside this door. The seats are gone. The bus's interior, an empty shell. At a Valle Hermoso funeral home, family and friends said goodbye to their loved ones today, their faces etched with haunting expressions of disbelief and horror. Now, the pictures from a makeshift morgue in Mexico, simply too graphic to be shown on television, but I can tell you, Irma, they are images that will not soon be erased from this reporter's mind.
And the tragedy is being felt throughout the small community.
Throughout their rage. This weekend's Holyfield Tyson undercard will feature the best female boxer in the world. Wasn't too long ago when a female presence in boxing consisted of nothing more than a ring girl. Not anymore. More and more women these days are lacing up the gloves. And fight! It's billed as Foxy Boxing. It is anything but. Nothing powder puff about this. From the headgear to the gloves.
That's right, our first match of the night, Irma versus Nympha.
It's attracting big crowds.
Why do you do something like this?
For fun. It's a thrill, a challenge, I guess.
And it's a way to let off steam for the boxers and audience alike.
Would you ever consider getting involved in something like this?
I've thought about it, but no. I've seen the girls fight, and no.
Louis Ledesma acts as referee.
Tell me what goes on out there. Are these women cussing? Are they panting and raving, or what are they doing?
Most of them are pretty excited. They don't know anything about it. They all come and tell me what's going on. What do I do? For most of them, it's just the first time that they do it.
Here we go, time. Here we go.
And for most, it's the last. But some, like champion Susana Caballero, will come back next week.
And time.
Most people think boxing is a guy's sport, but you're saying that does not happen?
I like to go into a professional event.
That could be a distinct possibility in this day and age, where women are more than just ring girls. They're warriors.
And bring it up. Bring it up.
And Carlos, that was a knockdown. From Foxy Boxing to the Sound and the Fury, Carlos has all the latest on Holyfield Tyson 2. And $30 million purse has also been frozen. The vote on that was 5-0. Reporter Byron Harlan begins our Tyson coverage. He joins us live from Las Vegas.
Thank you and good evening. Mike Tyson has been suspended from boxing. Byron Harlan, CBS News, reporting live from Las Vegas. Back to you in the studio.
Byron Harlan, thanks. This Tyson biting incident has prompted various class action lawsuits to be filed across Texas. Carlos Robledo now joins us with more on that.
You're exactly right, Dave. Fans in Houston and Dallas are seeking refunds for...
You heard the apology, as did I and several other people. Did it seem to you, in your opinion, to be from the heart or more or less of a carefully orchestrated effort to regain some of his dignity?
Well, as you saw him, Dave, he came out and he was low-keyed and he was emotional while he read his statement.
Well, the Valley is home to some of the finest police dogs in the entire world, and today we got a first-hand look at their training. Lassie, he's not. They attack on cue. Rex is one of a handful of dogs imported from Holland.
Working, so he works his whole life just
trained to become a policeman's best friend. Sniffing out drugs is Rex's specialty, and he's darn good at it. Now that we've seen what Rex can do with the Corvette, he can obviously find drugs there. We want to know if he can find these 2 grams of heroin on one of these 4 trucks. So what I'm going to do, unbeknownst to the dog, is hide this in one of these 4 trucks, and we're going to see if Rex can find it. We're going to hide it right underneath this bumper, right in here. Okay, now what we're going to do is take Rex back over to the other side, and we're going to see how long it takes him to find the simulated drugs. Getting warm.
He seems to be rather rambunctious.
yeah, it's nice and warm out here, and he's ready to go look for drugs. This dog was 93 International Dog of the Year for narcotics, and has always done a real good job in narcotics.
Laney's personal dog, Marco, is trained to attack.
You need some protection.
Strapped into 60 pounds of protective gear, he'll show us the proper way to disable a bad guy. Watch closely as the dog attacks, then releases on command. He will hover just inches away from the suspect, but will not harm him unless provoked. Training of this nature takes some 3 years, and Laney's dogs are some of the most highly sought after in the entire world.
Good boy.
Now, these dogs certainly are not cheap, Irma. They run about $6,000 after they've been fully trained.
Dave, who uses all these dogs?
A whole lot of law enforcement agencies use these dogs, including Harlingen PD. Now, Rex, the dog we introduced you to, there used to be one of their top dogs until about 6 months ago when he was chasing a burglar in downtown Harlingen when he fell out of a second-story building and hurt his back. They retired him, but he's still feeling pretty good, as you can see in the video.
Thanks, Dave.
A converted school bus carrying 40 maquiladora workers, including the daughter of a former Mexican congressman, met their death down this slick, narrow road. The accident happened very early Monday morning in rainy conditions similar to this. The bus was traveling northbound about a mile outside of Valle Hermoso in an area known, very notorious for its soft shoulders and deep drop-offs. Here is just one example of just how deep and how soggy the drop-off is. The bus careened into this 16-foot canal where the victims met a very violent and a very murky death. Ricano Gomez lives right across the street. People were screaming, he says. Some were drowning. Some were burning alive. After hitting a car, the bus burst into flames. The car involved in the accident also crashed into the canal, killing the driver. The remnants of this bus remain in a junkyard, and here's just some of the damage that happened. The bus, of course, caught on fire, and the fire still burns right here. The entire wheel of this bus was torn off. The front end and the engine suffered some severe damage, as did the hood. The windshield, of course, is completely out. More damage on the left side of the hood. The right side of the wheel is torn off. Remnants of the ditch still remain stuck and embodied inside this door. The seats are gone. The bus's interior, an empty shell. At a Valle Hermoso funeral home, family and friends said goodbye to their loved ones today, their faces etched with haunting expressions of disbelief and horror.
Come on back here in the back.
Two things have become painfully obvious about the art of barbecuing. Everybody loves to do it, and very few people do it
This
right.
here's my pit room. As you can see, it's smoking.
Big John is a big presence in the barbecue business. We decided to pick his brain to find out how to become a better cure.
We're getting the fire going right now. We have a firebox in the back, which this is all indirect heat, what we cook with.
Key number one is the pit. As photographer Rafael Cavazos and I quickly found out, this is no ordinary pit.
The main secret, not really a secret, is just your pit, for one thing, has to be something that'll hold the heat real good, something you control the heat in. This here is some pork ribs that we have marinated, was marinated yesterday.
Key number two is the marinade. Big John applies it generously on the baby back ribs and chicken. But don't bother asking for the recipe. What's in your marinade?
That's my secret.
Come on, John. It's time for you to share your secret. You're not going to share?
No, I'm not going to share.
Okay. A cold side dish is mandatory. Potato salad, coleslaw, pickles, and onions. Also, a good dessert to finish off the meal. Good.
The fajitas are a marinated, seasoned fajita, pre-marinated. We don't marinate them ourselves. They are very good, very tender, very juicy.
Fajitas and burgers are cooked over a flame-broiled grill.
This really isn't barbecuing, this is grilling.
Chickens and ribs are slow-smoked. The indirect heat and swirling smoke gives them a plump, juicy taste.
Keep consistent heat in and hold the heat.
No, this is inside. Come here. Come here.